Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Donnelly, voice of the Charlotte Rush. We are in Bojangles Coliseum, the practice home for a couple of days anyway for the Charlotte Rush, the original hockey building here in downtown or close to downtown Charlotte, North Carolina, built in 1956. Hard to believe hockey was here in Charlotte, North Carolina back then, but it was. And this building was also one of the first buildings in the United States to have a dome. So it is a Charlotte Rush Video Wednesday on this November the 16th, and time now for us to catch up with the head coach of the USP3 Charlotte Rush, Trevor Jewell, on the big weekend, last weekend, 4 games in 3 days up in Andover, Massachusetts, way up in the northeast part of Massachusetts. And Trevor, question number one, discuss the travel and also the team bonding for your team on this trip.
It was good. I mean, obviously, anytime you get a chance to spend a nice long while on the bus, it's good for the guys. It's not so good for us coaches, you know. Not good for our backs, but you know, it's fun for them. You know, they enjoy being around themselves, doing the things they do. I know they all play games on their phone with each other. They like the movies. They complain about the movies, and you know, it's a lot of fun. You know, I miss it being a player and things like that, but you know, it's always fun to be a part of it, even as a coach. And I think it's really good for our guys to get that bonding for that long amount of time.
Trevor, you mean those guys didn't like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs movie on that bus trip? Any Walt Disney stuff?
It was Frozen. Frozen's my go-to.
Okay, Frozen's your go-to. Great stuff. Well, Ryan, you guys got off to a very good start up there. You played a team from was Michigan, right? Kalkaska Rhinos, beat them 6-1. Then a big 10-1 win over the Seattle Ravens. And boy, your big line of Mark Kishko and Chandler Judd, they really took over in those 2 games, didn't they? Each got 3 points in each game.
Yeah, they both played very well in those 2 games, and I thought Judd really stepped in there with a hat trick. You know, he had the luxury of meeting with a couple schools while he was up there. You know, he's a young guy, he's getting on some radars, and I think that's good for him. Braden's got the same thing going on. He's a young guy getting on radars and things like that, and that's what they need to do. They need to put points on the board in showcases like that, and make sure guys are watching them every game, and make sure they keep coming back to watch them every game. So very proud of them.
Good. Again, the only loss of the 4 games happened next for the USP3 Rush, losing 3-1 again to the Islanders USP3 team. You know, Ryan, people might look at this. Trevor, people might look at the scoreboard and think, "Wow, 3-1." But you guys were tied up 1-1 with only 6 minutes to go, and they got a couple of goals late to take it away. So really, the game was much more competitive than I think the score would indicate.
Yeah, I thought we battled pretty well. I think we started very, very slow in the first half. Didn't play our game, didn't play our style of hockey, and then we came back in the second half, played very, very well. I thought the entire half of the game, and then some unfortunate calls, questionable calls in my mind, kind of sealed the deal for us. But it's one of those things we can't dwell on it, and it's a loss nonetheless. It's going to happen throughout the year. You can't win everything, even though we want to, and it's one of those blemishes that we have on the roster or the schedule that we want to have back. But hopefully, we'll see him again soon.
Trevor, I want to ask you a question about the officiating on the road, and don't want to put you on the spot, but is officiating on the road a lot different than it is at home?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's because you're in different regions or whatever the case may be, but sometimes the reffing up there, I think our first 2 games were phenomenal. It was a lot of keeping their whistles away, not trying to take control of the game, letting the kids actually play in that showcase environment, and I thought that was very good. And then unfortunately it was like that for the first 3 quarters of the game against the Islanders, and then they decided to take over the last 6 minutes, which kind of blows my mind, but you know what, can't dwell on it. Our guys learned from it and we moved on.
But a good ending to the USP3 road trip as you got a 5-1 victory over the Ironwood Upers from your home state of Michigan. I think the most impressive thing about this win, Trevor, you got goals from 5 different players.
Yep. I thought we started the game really slow. We were kind of hungover from our loss, a little bit down in the dumps, and kind of feeling sorry for ourselves. But we had to remind the guys that it's going to happen in between periods. You got to move on and have a short memory, because there's always going to be another game unless we're in playoffs. And the rule is we don't lose 2 games in a row, and they did a good job this weekend by not doing that. Ironwood, they played us tough. They played us well. I thought TJ DeFeo saved our butts in that game. He played phenomenal, and the guys responded, and we ended up getting that win, which we really needed, and kind of saved the guys from having a kind of boring, quiet ride home.
So again, the USP3 Rush go 3-1 on the long road trip. And you know, Trevor, a lot of people know that I'm with the Charlotte Rush. They knew you guys were going way up in Massachusetts, and a lot of my friends were asking me, hey, does the Rush fly or do they bus? And I told them, oh no, they fly. They said, they do? I said, yeah. It's just the runways are very, very long.
Yeah.
Kind of a joke us hockey people talk about when we're traveling those long rides on the bus, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
No flying, just a long, long runway on the bus. Well, Trevor, let's look at the USP3 standings right now in the South Division. Looking pretty good for the USP3 Rush. 19-5-0, 38 points. The only team better than the Charlotte Rush right now in the USP3 South are the Florida Junior Blades. And we're not taking anything away from them, but they are basically an elite team playing in the USP3. But Trevor, you will get a crack at them later on in December down in Fort Myers. I know you guys are probably chomping at the bit at that series.
Just a little bit. We've got to see them play a few times this weekend. They played before us, so we're definitely ready to have another shot at them. You know, obviously we were one of their closer games this year, being in the division they play in. I think they only beat us by 3 goals. We lost a few of our key guys during that game, so we didn't really get to play with a full roster. But we're definitely excited to play them again.
All right, and then final question for Trevor Jewell, the head coach of the USP3 Charlotte Rush. Hampton Roads this weekend, you're several spots against them. And Trevor, you guys are 8 points behind Florida, but only a point ahead of third place Carolina Eagles. So these 4 points are very important. Carolina's right on the Charlotte Rush heels right now.
Oh yeah, points are huge right now. Definitely can't stress enough how bad we want to beat Hampton. You know, obviously our rivalry there with the elite team, that kind of stems down to us as well. They have a pretty good program up there at the USP3 level, especially last year. A little inconsistent this year, but you know, they still have a very good team, so our guys can't take anyone lightly. We have to be ready to go and play our game this weekend.
Trevor Jewell, head coach of the USP3 Charlotte Rush, visiting with us on Rush Video Wednesday. Trevor, congratulations. Very successful road trip, 3-1 against some very good teams up there. Hope to get 2 more wins this weekend against Hampton Roads.
Thanks a lot, Tim.
Trevor Jewell, head coach of the USP3 Charlotte Rush. Come back to the Rush website often to get more videos and lots of information on your Charlotte Rush. Of course, visit our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I want to thank Ryan Sanford, who's been our cameraman today, and I'm the voice of the Charlotte Rush, Tim Donnelly. Thanks so much for watching.